So I really messed myself up with sickle cell earlier this year. And as a trained medical doctor, I thought I'd share it so anyone with sickle cell who is trying to make difficult treatment decisions might benefit. I've been taking hydroxyurea since 2015 because at that time I was working as a junior doctor and getting really stressed and having a much lower threshold for having painful crises and ending up in hospital. So went on hydroxyurea, didn't have any hospital admissions for 10 years, had a few minor crises, but nothing that needed like anything like strong painkiller wise. Start of this year, 2025, I'm thinking, okay, I've got my life together now. I'm not stressed, eating healthy, exercising regularly. I feel like I should stop the hydroxyurea and see what happens because I don't want to be taking it for the rest of my life. I don't want to be having all these blood tests and stuff. So why not see if I can manage, with diet, nutrition, everything like that. So I stopped it, told my medical team, and then I carried on my life and everything was good for about 3 months up until March. Then I'm out running and I'm feeling like pretty gassed out, pretty fatigued, pretty sore, but just kind of pushing through because I was complacent, basically. I'd gotten used to the idea of just having this nice running exercise routine and not having to kind of deal with any sickle cell consequences. Immediately recognize that it wasn't just like muscle stiffness after the run. It was like diffuse kind of rib, lower back going into my neck kind of pain. It was horrible because it wasn't initially that painful, but I immediately knew that this is going to get so much worse because I'm not on hydroxyurea. And I was like, I've messed up. I've really messed up here. So I took, all the stuff immediately, paracetamol, ibuprofen, codeine, and just prayed, was awake the whole night, in pain, in denial, trying to just fall asleep, thinking it will pass. But then it kind of gets to the level where even though you hate going to hospital and it sucks so badly to be there, the pain sucks even worse. And you just know like you have to go, and you have to go and endure the whole theatre of being in hospital and the inefficiencies and the attitudes of hospital staff. And yeah, what else can you do other than just literally sit there and be tortured? That's the alternative. That was a very painful lesson. And basically what had happened is with the hydroxyurea, the way it works is basically by acting on the bone marrow to get it to produce red blood cells, which have a special type of hemoglobin in called fetal hemoglobin, which is basically better at carrying oxygen and doesn't form the sickle cell shaped. So that fetal hemoglobin is protective against sickle cell crises. So before I stopped the hydroxyurea, I had a load of that in my blood. And after I stopped the hydroxyurea, it took 2 to 3 months for my bone marrow to do its thing and start producing all the higher levels of the sickle cell without the fetal hemoglobin again. So this meant that for sort of like 2-3 months I was fine because I was still living off the supply of fetal hemoglobin that I had from the hydroxyurea. But as soon as that ran out, I didn't have any protection from sickle cell crises. So I ended up with my normal sort of running routine, getting myself into crises. So the moral of the story is basically you have to stay on hydroxyurea for as long as you don't want to have sickle cell crises. If you're having sickle cell crises as a result of living your life in the way that, you want to live, i.e. doing exercise and sports, and that's triggering your crises, then you need to stay on hydroxyurea for as long as you want to do that. At some point in the future, I might say, okay, I'm going to stop hydroxyurea and I'm just going to chill out and I'm not going to do anything that triggers sickle cell crises, and that will be fine. Now I know that as long as I want to continue to be active and to basically just live a normal life for me, I need to stay on the hydroxyurea, because risks of having sickle cell crisis, painful, severe sickle cell crisis, and having to go and deal with all of the just shit that goes on in hospital, that I know because I've been on the other side of it and I burnt myself out trying to, manage all the inefficiencies. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So yeah, if there's anyone that literally, or if you know anyone who is having doubts about hydroxyurea and whether it's worth staying on it or whether it's worth starting it, then it's worth it, trust me. And if you want me to tell you more about how hydroxyurea works and the risks and side effects, then I can go into that. But the main thing is just take it, trust me. Any questions, put them in the comments and I will try my best to answer them. Stay healthy.